Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers.
Experience is not about the publisher, it is about us, the authors.
Hi, I'm Mark Anthony McCullogh. I'm the author of 2 books. First one is Little Something for All Ages. It's a children's book. And my second book is Inspiration and Reality. It's an adult-oriented book as well. Now, I'm going to read to you some of the stories out of Inspiration and Reality, but I'm also going to read it to you a Little Something for All Ages tonight as well for the first 15 minutes tonight. Now, the first story is called Helping Mom and Dad with the Big Bad Storm. It has wonderful illustrations inside, as well as the rest of the stories in the book. Now, helping Mom and Dad with a Big Bad Storm was an inspiration to me because as a child, I was through several hurricanes in Florida, where I'm from. And this could pertain to any storm that could happen in the United States or other places in the world. Now, June through November, it's easy to remember when we have big bad storms. Sometimes we are lucky and they don't come, but sometimes they do. When one comes, this is what Mom and Dad will ask of you. Dad needs you to help by holding the nails to give them for his task. He is using his hammer, putting up wooden covers so the big storm won't break the glass. If you have any questions, just ask. Now, Mom and Dad need your help in many ways. First, by filling the bathtub with clean cold water by gathering all the flashlights that you might need for days. When Mom and Dad go to the store, it's what you need. Batteries, radio, items for the grill. It's like camping. Now that's a thrill. Mom and Dad will need your help to bring the water in so that everyone, including your pets, will be cozy within. If Mom and Dad gather things for the car, they need for you to be their shining star. For you might go to Grandma's house or somewhere else with friends. It won't be too far. If you stay at home, Mom and Dad need you to be very still and not go outside to roam to be safe from the big bad storm out inside your home. The big bad storm will be outside just for a little while. So give Mom and Dad a kiss, hug, and smile. The big bad storm will make lots of silly noise, almost like a baby throwing toys. You can tell the big bad storm to go away, and then in a short time it will. Now, if you need to go with mom and dad deep inside the house, they will do a little flashlight show with a dog, butterfly, and mouse. If you get sleepy, that's okay to do, for mom and dad are safe with you. When this big bad storm disappears and had gone away, it will be a happy day. Things will look a little different, and it'll be safe for you to play. You're a great little helper for mom and dad today, for they love you, for they chase the big bad storm away. That's the first story in this book. The second story, as you can see with the illustration, the elderly lady, is love and respect older people. People over 55 have a lot to give, having the experience knowing how to live. The oldest among them, over 75, listen to their stories while they're still alive. Wisdom abounds while aging faces smile. Take a moment and sit with them for a while. There are some who sailed the 7 seas and seen a pirate or two. Some have a winning pie recipe and want them to share it with you. Many are veterans of foreign wars in times long past. They are eager to tell their stories. Time is going fast. Just like Grandma and Grandpa, they are there for you. One day you will be elderly and want someone too. Love and respect older people. Make them a friend today. Visit a nursing home activity director and let them lead the way. Lots of ways to be a friend to anyone you meet. Remember to be considerate, kind, and sweet. Now, the third story in this book is called Fire is Not a Friend. It has the illustration in this book of a little boy telling the fire to go away. Fire is okay. We got a person here named Reginald McBride. Hello, Mark. I just wanted to say your book is such a beautiful illustrations in them. Did you have a part to play in drawing some of these? Actually, I did. The illustrator did a wonderful job in doing it, but it was my idea, and I told him exactly what to do, and he did it really well. Fire for adult supervision, for heating, and for cooking is for you, an object for looking. Fire can burn your skin and make your hair all over from end to end. Fire is an enemy not an enemy when used just right, but when it's not, fire is not a friend. Fire carelessly set can burn a forest floor. Fire spreads for many miles, hurting animals we adore. Fire makes us lose our homes. Somewhere else we have to spend. Fire is not a friend. Fire comes from matches and lighters, so please don't play. Fire from them goes out of control and ruins your and others' day. Fire puts people in jail at the very end. Fire is not a friend. Megan J. Miller, hello. Good to see you here. I'm glad to see you, Megan. Glad you're here too. There's some other stories in here, but they're for the older children, and they're really good stories, but we're going to skip those and stay with the younger children for today. We have something called The Taming of Deer, and it's more of a Christmas theme, and it has a wonderful illustration here of deer in the forest. The Taming of Deer. Nothing more sincere than taming of deer, at least to the natives of north near Santa Claus. It's never easy to do. We must give thanks and pause. For thousands of years, tradition of nomadic life is colorfully displayed. They preserve and not easily dismayed. Nothing more sincere than taming a deer, The ropes, clicks, and whistles capturing young bucks, thinning the herds. Communication is key, the dependence of certain words and sounds. Risk is involved, teeming of sound, life abounds. Never a thrill of a kill nor a sound of hound. They only put down what they need. A minimum of survival indeed. Nothing more sincere than taming of deer when Santa comes to adopt and choose. Either wild or tame is the same, and with nature you can't lose. When you see deer grazing, do take pause. There are only two who care for them most, the great Creator above and dear old Santa Claus. More sincere than taming of deer, just ask Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. And the final story I have for you today is something that is dear to my heart and is to many people. This book was written in 2021, so it has ode to essential workers. This is during the COVID time. Ode to essential workers. There are many professions that make our lives worth living. Their selfless sought endeavor, their selfless thought of giving. Many long hours without the sight of kin. To defeat this nasty virus, all of us we will win. Ode to nurses who help the doctors, helping the patients breathe. To take the temps, insert tubes, and get well as they believe. Ode to the people who break the news to the ones left behind. A shoulder to lean on, so patient and kind. Ode to grocery workers who work with people and food, who in crowds lack social distance and wear what they should. Ode to the pharmacists and techs who have great meds done right, in the midst of hundreds and thousands of orders, both day and night. Ode to law enforcement officers all over our nation, who, as with many, are in front lines to inspire a generation. Ode to the firefighters and paramedics who respond, save, and rescue, who save our homes and our first choice to help all of you. Ode to the power and water workers, giving pipes and lines running, making it possible for essential workers to work. Their dedication is stunning. Ode to truckers, rail, plane, and boat, your timing is absolute. To receive all that we get, in which we are thankful as we salute. Ode to the factory workers who make essential things against the virus. Ode to scientists creating the trial vaccinations for us. We as a nation say today with pause and gratitude to put aside our bickering ways and to us never to be rude. Ode to essential workers from shore to gleaming shore. May you finally receive the rest when COVID is no more. And oh hail, can you tame the deer? I didn't know that there was such a method. Interesting. It is with the far north nomads. The deer are wild and they do tame them. They're not wild like horses or anything like that, but yes, you do tame deer. Now, we're going to Inspiration and Reality, which is an adult book. It has wonderful stories in it, and it also has stories of inspiration, religious inspiration. But it also has great poems such as I've Always Dreamt, which I'm going to share with you today as the first story. I've always dreamt of a place like this, where dawn breaks through the evening sky and fog rolls on with misty bliss. Someday I intend to leave this office world, with those agendas and deadlines, to snooze among the evergreens with cool wind blowing through the pines. I've always dreamt of a place like this as vacation draws near, where there is no sound except nature and the moonlit sky so clear. No appointments, no agenda, not even a meeting. To run fast like a child through the forest into the lake, with no one to give me a care, even a greeting. I've always dreamt and dreaming still of being in the eastern Tennessee fall and retiring to a small cabin on a hill. Daydreams as pleasant time of delight, of vivid memories of old-fashioned reflections embedded in my sight. I've always dreamt of bluegrass music and the smell of apple pies, where people live forever with happy and simple lives. All those simple dreams can and will be fine if I only buckle down and save my money, and retirement can be mine. Work is piling as reality sets in, so back to the old grind of things. Where shall I begin? Until tomorrow, with my cup of coffee, I will pause once again for the dreams that are meant for me. That's all I've always dreamt. I got a couple others I'd like to share with you. One is called A Service Dog of Sid. It's about a dog, a service dog. It's a fictional story, but it's set to poetry, of course. There was a blind man who came to church, who sat in the middle pew. His service dog of several years knew just what to do. He came, his cane swept back and forth in a forward motion to guide him in one way. His service dog was his balance of mutual guidance in his final stay. One Sunday went into the man didn't show, but his service dog did. Oh, Sandy, through this book, children can certainly understand real world situations. That's true, really can. One Sunday when into the man didn't show, but the service dog did. The members of the congregation asked, "What happened to Sid?" The rector said Sid died in his sleep, and that the dog was willed to us. He is an official member. He is to roam and comfort. He pleases and lay down in the middle pew as we remember. His muzzle grew gray with each passing year and sat up slowly when the hymns were sung. His limp became noticeable when the kids came to play. Then came a whistle in the coolness of the day. When the middle pew and the sun shone bright, his days were done. His ashes were scattered over Sid's grave. The service dog's final duty, the rector's full eulogy he gave, and be with his owner in heaven. His owner could finally see, to be with their Father in heaven and rest eternally. That's the service dog of Sid's. Now I have another poem that I have. It's called Ode to Rosa Parks. In 1955, the idea of civil rights came, alive and no better sparks than the raging wildfire of the name of Rosa Parks. Blacks back then were only allowed to ride in the back of the Montgomery buses. To ride anywhere else, blacks were assaulted and given rudeness cheers and white men's cusses. During Christmas season, Rosa worked a long, hard day. A white man came aboard and wanted her to give her seat away. Rosa sat firm and told the white man she wasn't going to move. The white man went to the driver. Whispers asked what she's trying to prove. The bus driver approached Rosa Parks. Either get up or I will call the police on you. Rosa replied, do what you have to do. Police arrived not long thereafter and came on board right away, taking her up without protest and booked her same day. Kelly W. Mays, the touch of humor in the book is magnificent. Thank you very much for that. She was fined for violation of the law and lost her job. Rosa was an inspiration to millions. She became a success and didn't publicly cry sob. Montgomery's bus system was boycotted for nearly a year. African Americans walked and drove together and took cabs without fear. 1956 brought changes in how buses were run, for by then the damages were already done. Congress passed a bus non-discrimination law, which is still far from proclaiming liberty and justice for all. If Rosa Parks didn't do what she had that night, there would be what would civil rights be? If she didn't say no, how free would anyone be? Some say sadly to their children today what rebellion is and the sin of witchcraft as they view it. Then by grace of God, a nation so-called witches owed to Rosa Parks all rights and do it. That's owed to Rosa Parks. I got another poem for you. It's called The Honored Flight. Gail Blair, hey Mark, if you could choose one message, what message would you say that your book wants to deliver? It's to deliver diversity. It's to deliver diversity in poetry. It's to deliver that we need to learn from our history, and that for young people, it's good to start poetry at a young age and to continue poetry in our lives, and to know that history is our friend and never to stray away from it. And history and poetry is our friend and learn from it. The Honored Flight. An early flight, an early morn, a day just beginning. Who would have known the game of life had reached its final inning? More than just the normal passengers were boarding on this day. 4 hijackers boarded and went about their evil way. Off from Newark, Flight 93, her voyage into history. The hijacker terrorists had in their mind had laid so kind, you see. Their mission was bold and swift. Not long into flight, they stormed the cockpit and fight, unknowing they were about for a flight. 33 passengers and crew heard through phone and word the plight of Pentagon and towers, collectively stirring on what they must do seemed like hours. People called those dear to them to say I love you and goodbye, knowing what they planned, the plane would crash and they would die. Thousands of feet above Stony Creek Township, the passengers and crew rebelled and fought. God only knows what they exactly happened next. This pilot detained, and all hijackers caught. What we do know is there were 40 heroes that day who saved the Capitol building and life. Because of the honored flight, 33 passengers and 7 crew just knew what to do with toil and strife. And they honored today in a rural Pennsylvania field, God's light shines bright, teaching us through adversity what we must do, and what do is right. They are joined with others in the courts of heaven, crowned in glory and grace, until we are united again with warm love and embrace. Knowing that all Americans, we have the courage that will always come through, that is honored. The honored flight is now a part of you. The honored flight. Sandy, how long have you been writing stories and poems, Mark? I can feel the passion and emotion in your writing. Very impressive. Since age 12, actually. My first poem, exposure to poem, was in kindergarten. When I was 5 years old, there was a Mrs. King. I remember her giving me a poem to read, and it was once was a duck. There once was a duck with a big broad back. He doesn't go cluck. He goes quack quack. I remember that so much, and I'm almost 60 years old now, and I still remember that. And it's the most amazing thing. Children are like sponges. If you give them a poem, they will remember it, and it will stick with them for the rest of their lives. That's why poetry is so important to children and to adults. Don't give them boring poetry. Give them exciting poetry. If you give them boring poetry, it drives them away. Give them something that will last and stick with them. I'm not putting down T.S. Eliot or other poets. They have their own brand of poetry and it's wonderful. But other poets are really good, and listen to them and follow your own pathway in poetry. Kelly W. Mates, I love the flow of words. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. Now we have just a few more minutes. Read one more poem for you. The snow on the ground will melt today. This is a good one that I really like. The snow on the ground will melt today, for there'll be goodwill on earth, I pray. Sincerely I do pray for one and all to heed the way of New Year's call. Just as sure as the wreath is on the door, I wish you a new year forevermore. The pandemics will die upon the earth, and humans will have a joyous new birth. The snow on the ground will melt today, and this is much that is left to say. I just celebrated Christ's great birth to give all love and peace on earth. It's time to give that back. If we don't, surely we lack. Gather together and give one voice. When it comes to humanity, we have no choice. As soon as the snow on the ground will melt today. This is 88 pages of wonderful poetry. And it's just awesome how all these different things, like the wife with her husband for the last time, snow on the ground will melt today. Emma and Kaya is a good one too. Emma and Kaya were dogs of mine who passed away. And I wrote a poem about them as well. And I have one that's everyone has great value in their disabilities. That's really nice too. You can get these two books, Inspiration Reality and Little Something for All Ages. These books are available on Amazon, and they're available on Barnes & Noble, or you can get it at www.mmccullogh.com. They're really great books. And I thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you have a great afternoon and evening. And I thank you so much for joining me. Goodbye now. Thank you so much.